Salient Arms International is quickly gaining a huge following for making just really incredible custom pistols, upgrading standard firearms and really bringing them into their potential. And I've reviewed one of the Glock 34s. This was a Salient Arms Tier 1 gun, and that is their ultimate package, the Tier 1 package. But it was the larger version. And in 9mm, it doesn't quite make as much difference as it would in like this Glock 20. This is a 10mm Glock 20. It's an incredible firearm in itself. I own the standard Gen 3 Glock 20, and I love this firearm. I love the caliber. 10mm is just a boss, and it's just powerful. The ballistics are excellent. Of course, there's recoil, and the recoil on these are a little bit excessive compared to 45, 9mm, 40, and some of the other calibers. The 10mm is very comforting, especially if you're out in the woods, if you're facing maybe bear or cougar, or you're just really wanting an exceptional round that matches pretty close to the 357 Magnum, which is a renowned man-stopping round. So when I had a chance to check this Glock 20 out from Salient Arms International, I have been really excited about getting my hands on this pistol. It's a good friend of mine, Bill Frady from Lock and Load Radio, which is sponsored by Gun Owners of America. And Bill and I have been buddies for a long time, and he always gets some of the coolest firearms and is so gracious to let me check them out. And so this is the Glock 20. I really love the Glock 34. It was a nice shooting gun. It was very accurate. It was smooth as silk. But this really makes the Glock 20 come into its own. It's super lightweight. The way the grip's shaped. And really, it's much less on the recoil, which is kind of surprising considering you have lighter weight. But the guys at Salient Arms just know what they're doing. And just to tell the truth, this would make an excellent concealed carry gun because of the weight and because of 15.1 in the magazine. And of course, always checking the gun is unloaded. Now when you lay these side by side, they look like different type firearms. And one of the things that Salient does is they really try to mimic what the 1911 accomplishes. And, really your polymer frame guns, I'm a big fan of Glock. I have a number of Glocks. But they definitely are just a totally different animal than your 1911. With the crisp trigger break, with the matched barrels, and with all the custom features that go into a lot of the 1911 pistols. And so Salient Arms has taken any conceivable place on the Glock pistol and has strived to improve it. And one of the big things you're going to notice, of course, immediately is that barrel. And, the Tenifer finish on the Glock is renowned for having the hardness and being able to withstand a lot of abuse. But with this finish, this is an ion finish on this barrel. And it turns out gold, but it's really just a really strong finish, and you can get different finishes on these. This is kind of their signature barrel color, and it is really striking. Now, for me personally, I would probably go with a black finish just because I like to be a little more subdued. But this definitely, for a nice carry piece, this really has a lot of bling to it. But it is a Barstow barrel, and it's fitted not only to the slide, but it's also fitted to the frame to give you just maximum accuracy in your barrel. And really it does. It just points well and it shoots well. And the slide itself has been relief cut. The weight has been dropped considerably. You have ports on both sides. You have a port right at the top. Of course, you have relief cuts right here in the side of the slide with Salient Arms International. And then here, also scalloped out anywhere that's conceivable to remove weight. Now, on the front with the serrations, it's really great to have serrations on the front of your slide. It allows you to be able to rack the slide from front or from back. And they're at an angle. They're really sharp and great to grab hold of. And these have been enhanced from the regular. This has more of a grip to it when you pull than your factory Glock pistol. The cuts are just more sharp, which it's not uncomfortable to your hand. You can just feel it in your fingers. As you grip it, you know that slide's coming back. The slide's also been trimmed all the way down each side, and this really relieves it and it gets it more slim and trim. As you can see with your regular Glock 20, it's more fat and rounded off, and this really thins it down. And then here you can just compare the top of the slide, the side, and the grip. It's a considerable difference. Right here, relief cuts in the top of the slide. The sights, of course, a fiber optic front sight, and then just a blackened sight at the back. And I really like this shelf on the sight because it allows you to be able to cock this pistol in case you injure one of your hands and you're unable to rack the slide. Now, I love this fiber optic sight. It really picks up the light well. It makes it really easy for follow-up shots. Then, of course, with the rear sight, it's just a black field. So it really contrasts well with the fiber optic sight. Because of this shelf, is you're able to cock the gun in case you're in a gunfight and you get your hands injured or hurt. So one-handed reloads are really easy. And one of the things you need to consider about a sight like this is maybe even adding it to your pistol is because a lot of times injuries are done to the hands or the extremities and the arms, the legs. In fact, studies have shown that that is the most likely place you're going to be hit in a gunfight. And if one of your hands is out, once your magazine's empty, you could be out. So being able to cock that pistol with a little more ease really makes it nice. Each of the pins have been replaced with titanium pins, and this adds strength, but it also reduces the weight. The stippling on this grip is just exceptional. And not only is it just stippled to give it more texture, it is also areas have been relieved, actually removed. So where you have your grip right here, and this can actually be removed completely, it really makes it a small package to be able to grab hold of. I know when I was shooting it, just how it felt. It almost melted in my hand compared to the standard Glock 20, which is fairly smooth. I mean, it has its points where you can grip it, but if you're like me, and I have medium-sized hands, if you have really large hands, it's not as much of a problem. But when I'm gripping my Glock 20, I always feel like that it's just about to slip out of my hand. And really with this feel on here, this stippling job, no matter what I end up doing, I'm going to put that stippling job on this Glock 20 because it really made a huge difference in the handling of this pistol. Of course, you have this comet cut right here where your mag release is, and then they have cut out right here behind the trigger guard, and then right here flattened it out. And one of the things about this is very functional. Of course, you can get your grip way up, even higher, onto the pistol grip. But also, because you're getting your higher grip here, sometimes it can change the orientation and the natural aim of the pistol. And when they cut this out, it actually balances it out. So you may find yourself bringing the pistol up high, and then with it underneath the trigger guard, it'll actually bring it down low again. So there's some thought behind that. In fact, everything that's done on this pistol is not done for cosmetics. It's done as a practical use in mind. Well, except maybe this little panel on the back of the slide. This is definitely really nice, but you know, that's extra. But it does make it look really good, and it really matches the rest of the pistol grip. It's gonna be hard now to shoot mine. My grip's just too sweet. Right here you have finger pads on the front of the frame, and this is if you want to just place your finger up here, which you should always keep your trigger finger out of your trigger, and it's nice to just have that place to remind you that that needs to go there. And also as you're gripping the gun, different people hold their guns in different ways, and you can rest your thumb if you ride it up that far, especially people with larger hands. It really helps. But one of the biggest differences with this pistol is the trigger, and this isn't a custom finished trigger. This is Salient Arms International's custom trigger, built from the ground up. Now it's about a 4.5 pound trigger, and it just, you barely touch it, you come up to the wall as soon as you disengage the safety. And then it's a really fast snap, very crisp, it's really nice, easy for follow-up shots. The reset, which is a nice audible click. That way you know when the reset's hit. I've shot a lot of pistols that the reset is almost muffled, and sometimes it's hard to tell. But with this, you know when you're getting that follow-up and you're getting that reset. Here with your standard Glock pistol, you have a lot of travel right here, and then really it's sort of mushy when you hit it. This one actually has had some work done to smooth out some of the edges. It has another disconnector in it to make it smooth, but even then it doesn't come anywhere near what this Salient Arms trigger system is. Your trigger pull is extremely important, and you know, it's not necessarily the poundage, it's more the crisp break. The interior of the pistol, we're just going to take a quick look. One of the things that they do is they put in a custom guide rod. And this is the ISMI guide rod, and you need, because you've relieved so much weight from the slide, the weight is different, the recoil is going to be different, and so you're going to need to have a custom guide rod in here to be able to facilitate and keep this thing reliable. And it is extremely reliable. But for each size, they have a Tier 1, a Tier 2, and a Tier 3. And Tier 1's their first top package with a lot of the cuts in it. The Tier 2 has a different package, and then your Tier 3 is just your basic package. And each one has a different guide rod system. The Barstow barrel, it's really nice. Of course, I've been shooting at the range, and it's still dirty, but this is a beautiful barrel, very wear resistant and very slick. Has a lubricity to it that's really nice. And of course, Barstow makes excellent barrels anyway. So this is going to give you superior accuracy. Of course, again, the trigger system itself is completely built up. I mean, it's still very Glock-like. Everything's pretty much the same. It's just that all the tolerances are a little tighter. The polishes, where it's polished, how it's fitted. In fact, Salient will not send you the trigger system. They want you to send your frame or your pistol into them to let them fit it, because they individually fit the trigger system to each pistol. And of course, your plungers and your striker bar has been replaced to make this really nice. This is a really huge difference to have a really good striker bar. If you have a titanium striker bar in your Glock pistol, it's amazing the difference. But when you take a Glock pistol that runs around the $500 range, there are production shortcuts that are mandatory to keep it at that price. I mean, it just is what it is. And, you know, Glock still puts out an excellent quality pistol. And I carry one every day. And I love just the standard Glock pistol. But if you really want to go with something that gets the Glock to its total potential, this is something to really look at. The Salient Arms, those guys have really built up a huge following, and there's good reasons for it. One of the things, though, that I noticed immediately after I went out to the range and really compared these two pistols is, of course, with 10mm, you've got power, and with that translates into more recoil. The recoil mitigation that's produced by the Salient Arms International pistol actually surprised me. It's not so snappy like this Glock 20. It's more solid, and it stays on the mark. And it just, I guess a lot of that too has to do with this grip. It just really gets the grip tight. And then with the lighter slide, you don't have a lot of recoil action coming back. It just really contains itself well. And this is just a machine. And it's just really refined. This Glock 20, I love it. And I will continue to shoot it. But this has spoiled me a little bit. The accuracy is there as long as the shooter's doing his part, especially on that first shot. It's kind of embarrassing. Surprisingly, because of the weight reduction, the recoil is considerably less than the standard 10mm. And I think a lot of that has to do with getting just a full grip on the frame itself. Because of the stippling reduction and just the reduction all the way around, it brings it thinner, it's a little more ergonomic. Now, if you have larger hands, that might not be the case, but this does give you better gripping surface. So it just seems like you really have a good hold on the pistol. So one of the things about my Glock 20 is that I feel like I'm kind of holding on to it. With this, I feel like my hand is melting into the frame, and it's beautiful. Now, Salient Arms not only does work on Glocks, they also do the M&P, your Springfield Armory XDMs, your 1911s, AR-15s, Benelli shotguns, Remington 870s, and a host of others. When you have this kind of work done, these pistols are not inexpensive. This is a Tier 1. It starts out at about $2,500. The Tier 2 is $1,700, around that mark, and then the Tier 3 is around $1,400. And of course, you can have different mix and match of different parts, what you want. I mean, they'll custom make your gun to whatever suits you. But, you know, everything that's done to the pistol is just incredible. And, you know, a lot of guys are like, well, I'm not going to spend $2,500 on a pistol. And you know what? If you have that mindset, really you shouldn't. You know, you could buy 5 standard Glocks for what you have in one Salient Arms pistol. But guys, let's just be honest. How many pistols can you shoot? And really, of course, I have a number of different pistols. I like them for different reasons. But I find myself leaning more and more to higher and higher quality pistols. And instead of having quantity, really, I would rather have quality. And as long as it's great quality, it's functional, and it does what I want it to do. I don't have safe queens, even though I do have a lot of guns, but what I have in my safe, I shoot. And I'm not buying something as a trophy piece to go out to the range and show out. I want something that'll really function. And I think that the Salient Arms International is really hitting that in a multitude of directions. Now, if you're interested in checking out the Salient Arms International website, they have a web page, but their website has been down for a long time, and there's a story behind it, and I'm not going to get into it. But go to their Facebook page. In fact, I'll have the link down in the description below, and you can see what all they're doing. You can get in touch with them through the Facebook page, and there's just a lot of things they're doing, and a lot of great photos of a lot of their work, a lot of explanations of what they're doing. And you can also go to their YouTube channel. In fact, I'll have the annotation linked right here if you just to click on it and check it out. But these guys are professional. They're doing fantastic work, and again, they're really putting out an excellent pistol, putting Glock pistols at their top potential. You know, you may say, I don't have $2,500 to spend on any gun. And you know what? That is a lot of money. But one thing this video does, it just shows you what's out there. So again, I want to thank Bill Frady at Lock and Load Radio with Gun Owners of America for allowing me to just enjoy this Salient Arms International Glock 20 Tier 1 package. Guys, this is an incredible pistol. I want to thank the guys at HPR2 for sending 10mm over to me. This is incredible ammunition, guys. High quality ammunition for a high quality pistol. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Then breaking the pistol down. Oops. Now breaking the pistol. Let's go to. But when you have a Glock that runs around the $500 range, oops. And just to tell you the truth, this would make a and you know, you may say, you know what? I don't have $2,500 to spend on a Glock, and you know what? I don't either.
Just your face.
Just my face. I'm gonna hold my pistol up like this.